حد كلبه يقدم مستوى جميل.
Look, mate, listen, it's clearly not a foul. Sir, that is an image of you showing me your phone because you're on TV. Oh, shit, wait, okay, hang on a second. Let me just, hey, yo, okay, I'll save that one for later. Crying out loud. Yeah, listen to this. Look, this is a despicable, awful, horrendous video. Mate, just press play. Yo guys, it is your boy Nirin here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, after just 44 days as the UK's Prime Minister, Liz Truss has resigned from the role.
And it's happened immediately! This is amazing!
She lost to a lettuce on television in a war of attrition. Fam, that is a vegetable. This is a war of nutrition. She lasted less time than a packet of ham and was down the tunnel with immediate effect. This is a record that even a Watford manager would be disappointed in. Right, hear this, yeah? Kwasi Kwarteng, dickhead, mate. Boris Johnson was ready to walk in and quite literally fuck up everything again until Rishi Sunak was given the job. But look, Liz is a Norwich fan. She should be used to short spells at the top. That brings us nicely onto the football though, and we'll start with someone else making a swift exit.
He might be walking away from the stadium. Is he walking away from the job?
Inshallah.
United started the past 7 days with an impressive and convincing 2-0 win over Antonio Conte's Spurs. Fred eventually broke the deadlock here with Bruno Fernandes doubling their lead 20 minutes later. Eric Dyer put his life on the line defensively. He'll be going in at half-time looking a little bit different. Tottenham just can't expect to win big games with a Don at the back who's always had a number 2 all over. He was born with that trim. You're wearing short sleeves in December causing your body stress for no reason. Just wear gloves. At the other end, and Lisandro Martinez was impressive again. He's actually sick. I know I bully him for his height, but it actually doesn't matter. And that's a ball in! Casemiro was tested, trying to list off all the English clubs that he actually knows.
Man United,
Yeah.
Chelsea, West Ham,
West Ham, yeah.
yeah, Liverpool,
No, yeah.
Man City.
No, quite a few. Do you know Tottenham?
What?
Tottenham Hotspur?
Top Spur?
No.
What's that?
Meanwhile, at the back for Tottenham, and Ivan Perisic has been 33 years old forever, but he might finally be 34. Him running down the wing was a sight to behold in a negative way. But obviously the big talking point here was Cristiano Ronaldo walking out of Old Trafford early after not coming off the bench late on. His heat maps are getting steadily worse. This is the Don he thought was actually refereeing the game. He put out an Instagram statement explaining his hot-headedness, and look, if I fell down the pecking order below Anthony Elanga, I'm walking out as well. He could be seen walking out of Old Trafford with everyone's hair gel whilst they're still playing. But the thing is with Ron, yeah, I know he's not used to being on the bench, but he's not contributing enough. 1.5 expected celebrations and an oversized Adam's apple's not gonna do the job. Nah, mate, that thing's too big. That's an Adam's melon. And now he's training with the under-21s officially. We've got live footage of him here up against United's youngsters tomorrow. Their under-17s coach is a little bit nervous, knowing that he's got to explain a rondo to Cristiano.
They use now, I don't know, they've more run away from theirs. I'm not saying I'm a bad homemaker now that I don't.
Tom Huddleston's excited to see him, but I don't think the feeling's mutual. Meanwhile, Cristiano Jr. is going to be devastated knowing his dad's going to take penalties off him. If he misses a big chance, his dad is forcing him out the WhatsApp group, and Cristiano's getting peppered himself.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
Poor kid's going to get the hairdryer treatment when he misplaces a pass out for a throw-in.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
Zidane Iqbal will be trying to impress in the under-21s. But generally speaking, look, I get Cristiano's frustration, but he's just, like, not good enough to hold down a start, in my opinion. And resorting to petulance won't help, especially with Erik ten Hag, who was already far too distracted seeing Lucas Moura come off the bench again. He wasn't involved in United's dramatic draw against Chelsea either. The Blues thought a late penalty from Jorginho had won it for Chelsea, only for Casemiro to level in the 94th minute.
Millimeters in a match of margins.
It was never in doubt for Chelsea, until it was. I think it's fair to say Kepa and Thiago Silva were in considerable doubt here. Lisandro Martinez got a dramatic picture with a fan celebrating in the crowd, who made it his profile pic shortly afterwards. It's come to my attention that Anthony just cuts in on his left foot. When he's not doing 360 no-scopes, he's watching Iron Robin compilations. But this draw does not save Scott McTominay. We need an official statement from all of Scotland at this point. He's shy. He was grabbing hold of Armando Broja for a penalty and just didn't let go. Scott, mate, you're playing the wrong sport here.
That's just typical what it is.
Unless he was just trying to save the Albanian. Reece James is looking like a Minecraft block in the crowd, and he was unable to stop Casemiro's late equaliser, of course, which was just over the line. Chelsea fans weren't pleased originally at the decision.
It's not totally over the line. That's not a goal. Look at the white bit. Look at the white bit. That ball, that's a goal.
Meanwhile, Kepa was furious at the ref after his watch went off. Croatian midfielder Mateo Kovacic, though, was feeling very free. I knew his alternate transportation from the ground was crazy. This woman, by the way, was interested. And Peter Schmeichel's not seen that many balls come towards him since his playing days. Meanwhile, over at Liverpool, don't even introduce them. Shut up. We already know what the scoreline is. Hey, will you lower your volume? Liverpool reached an all-time low with a 1-0 defeat to then bottom of the table Nottingham Forest.
Bit physically sick, to be honest. I just wonder what's the point anymore, you know.
A man with a default pro club's name has had our lives here. We've been beaten by a body of trees. Ladies and gentlemen, your task is to win an away game.
Fucking hell, man. I'm finished.
And it was made even worse by the goal scorer being ex-Red Taiwo Awoniyi, who we had and loaned out for a number of years because he failed to get a work permit. Then the moment he actually secured one, we sold him. That's like hiring a babysitter, not using him to look after your child, then 2 years later he just comes back and randomly shags your wife. Curtis Jones was upset realising Nico Williams was actually going to play well against him.
Let's fucking have it.
Dean Henderson was loving it. The United loanee stuck a middle finger up to Liverpool fans.
He's a knobhead, but he's hilarious.
Meanwhile, Jurgen Klopp's got his excuses ready. Look, they've got one tree on the badge, but Forest in the name. Forests aren't just one tree. Meanwhile, Virgil van Dijk missed a gilt-edge opportunity late on, and he was trying to explain this miss to Jurgen at full time.
Hey Jim, they're doing the work they're doing and they fall.
Now in the Champions League, it's been a dramatic week for the big boys, as Barcelona were knocked out of the competition after Victoria Poulsen failed to beat Inter and they were beaten 3-0 by Bayern. They were relying on D's lot, for God's sake. Lewandowski's regretting his life choices. This isn't very TikTok-y. Brother, you are 37 years old. If I'm Robert, I'm having a change of heart halfway through this one. Barcelona fans were not too pleased, I think it's fair to say. Gerard Piqué's efforts to avoid the Europa League were in vain. Oh, for fuck's sake. At least it gives Sancho season underscored a chance to scout Frankie de Jong now, because they're in the same competition. Chelsea fans are joyous seeing Jules Koundé and Rafinha drop down, and they're ready to rub it in. Yeah, Xavi, mate, what's going on? Look, it might be a tough time, but at least I didn't call Gavi a striker. Now, look, I know that's a targeted attack. I didn't mean to say. Juventus are out of the group stages as well after a 4-3 loss to Portuguese side Benfica, who have absolutely smashed it, by the way. This is madness, though, for Juve. Out already. This is the worst day for an old lady since Buckingham Palace last month. Paul Pogba's going to be surprised to see his old United mate sooner than he thought he would.
Hello, fancy seeing you here.
Atletico Madrid are out as well, in dramatic circumstances, because in a group that makes literally no sense whatsoever.
How did you get up there?
I fell.
Atleti needed to win against Bayer Leverkusen to keep their chances alive. Now they have a chance late on, the full-time whistle is blown, but then VAR calls a penalty after the full-time whistle for a handball. Yannick Carrasco steps up to take it, has his penalty saved before the rebound hits the bar, and then Yannick blocks the third rebound, ensuring their defeat and their elimination. Arsenal are going to be traumatised seeing Barca, Juventus and Atletico Madrid enter the Europa League.
So we don't have the capacity.
Hector Bellerin's in for a shock when he attempts to ask Mikel Arteta for a vegan coffee.
Okay, I don't think we're that close.
Even Real lost to RB Leipzig, though it has no relevance because they just spawn in the round of 16 no matter what they do. This Halle Leipzig tweet, however, is outrageous. It's a Shithousery award for the Germans. It was a bad day for the big clubs and for Tottenham too.
Top spur?
As they were denied a last-minute winner by VAR. And I'll be totally honest, lads, it's reached a point with VAR where I actually don't know what the rules of football are. The VAR room had no idea what was going on. Have you seen the Kane goal, lads? Oh yeah, Kane, I've got that. Antonio Conte can't be too pleased with the officials.
I prefer to kill him to have, yeah.
But to me, it was deserved after this Emerson Royale no-look pass. This Shakhtar Donetsk attacker provided the Champions League miss of the week. His boss can't have been too happy. Sevilla ended up in third once again, and it's all falling into place.
It was all part of the master plan, wasn't it?
Meanwhile, Kavicha Kvaratskhelia is so popular in Georgia that people go to cinemas to watch him and Napoli play. Now back in England, and it's game over for Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa after a 3-0 loss to Fulham. I love him as a Liverpool legend, but voila, he's finished. An incompetent short spell in charge? I think her new post might have just opened up me. Whilst Liz made an early exit from number 10, it would be trust in Steven Gerrard that would be dwindling in October. Douglas Luiz was devastated at the news. I mean, not really, but Aston Villa fans chanted you'll never work again. But in reality, he's not the only problem here. Tyrone Mings has a lot to answer for. He's a criminal still at large. And then immediately after his sacking, they go 4-0 up against Brentford. And Stevie will have been furious watching at home. Aston Villa then announced that Unai Emery would take his place in the hot seat, and that means the legend has returned.
Good evening.
He's not going to greet Arsenal fans too kindly when he returns to the Emirates. On the flip side, he's going to get a rude awakening 0.6 seconds into living in Birmingham.
Don't ask me why. I just woke up in a fucking steaming mood, yeah? Because I live in a shithole.
He's collecting the Villa Infinity Stones. Sevilla, Villarreal, Aston Villa. What's next? Good evening, I'm happy to be in the Villa. Manchester City swept aside Brighton this week, and Erling Haaland quite literally swept aside their defenders. But just because he's annihilating the Premier League doesn't mean he's not getting humbled in training. Hey, listen, stop Erling, bro, just get out of here. But he did gain points on league leaders Arsenal after the Gunners drew 1-1 to Southampton at St Mary's. The Saints were calling for a 12th man, and I can't lie, they got it. Meanwhile, Theo Walcott had to be escorted away after asking for a move back. Crystal Palace beat Wolves and tweeted playtime after last week's Wolves versus Nottingham Forest episode. Jesse Marsch is in trouble after yet another loss as Leeds manager. He's trying to flee and get back into the MLS as we speak. Leicester won 4-0 against Wolves, having had 4 shots on target compared to their opposition's 20 efforts. This is a FIFA match, mate. Meanwhile, Jamie Vardy's pre-match diet is predictable, and he celebrated like this after grabbing his first goal of the season. It's a Housery award for the Leicester striker. Meanwhile, 7 years ago, Beth Mead was promised a free Nando's card if she earned the top scorer in her league. After all that time, and she's done it again. Speaking of motivation, and Newcastle on form, no doubt thanks to Miguel Almiron.
What else?
Miggy saw this and he's been different ever since.
It became personal with me.
Hey bro, you're playing like Jack Grealish right now. Honestly, if Jack calls Haaland a calculator, he's scoring 157 a season. In Wolverhampton now, when Adama Traore challenged some kids to a race.
Go! Yes! Go! Oh!
At Bournemouth versus West Ham United, and there was more VAR controversy after a handball decision that Specsavers weren't too keen on. Are you watching the WWE again? Nah, mate, we've got Kane on this time. That game was done, lad. Now, over in Italy, and there was drama between a referee and a Roma player here, there was some pushing and shoving, and Jose Mourinho thought he wanted to get involved, then saw the referee holding a red card and dipped away from the situation.
If I speak, I am in big trouble.
On TikTok, and what in the sweet fuck is going on in this blue and black AC Milan top? At Milan, and you don't want to sit in front of Zlatan Ibrahimovic on the bench. He's 1 minute away from getting scorpion kicked in the noggin. Over in Italy, and Ciro Immobile is out of their next World Cup. Flipping it, that's a hell of an injury. He's out for a whole 4 years. Over in Turkey, and for Galatasaray's Mauro Icardi. I forgot. I thought we were done here. How about him and his agent and TV personality wife Wondanara have split up again. She posted a spicy pic on Instagram of her with a rapper in bed, then appeared in his music video lipsing him again. I don't care. Icardi is a hoe, and Wondanara is the lead character in Wayne Rooney's Street Strikers. He's lost his girl to slow tie, mate. He can't have been too impressed watching the next music video. Oh, yeah. Mauro's a pagan, I heard your girl needs a saving. Put my ting into your wife and your face down on the pavement. I pussy up, stealing your wife. What in the world? Maxi Lopez is going to be watching this with joy after Mauro stole her from him. Icardi is going to be waking up to a text tomorrow morning.
I knew you'd end up here, little nigga. Right where you belong.
She's his agent as well, you know. Should we put in a £257 million divorce clause on his next deal? In Spain, and physio techniques have really advanced at Barcelona. Meanwhile, there were ridiculous scenes at Villarreal where Alex Baena scored and then revealed a message on his shirt to pay tribute to their late vice president, Jose Manuel Yaneza, which sounds beautiful and it's a really nice touch, except the referee showed him a second yellow. This rule has always been ridiculous, but this is a new low. In France, and Messi was once again visited by a their pitch invader. I know he's an extraterrestrial, but it doesn't mean that you can have invasions all over the gaff. He might be an alien, but he's still appeased by the little things. At Strasbourg versus Toulouse, and a fan threw a spanner onto the pitch. A spanner in the works, you could argue. At Rhyme, and Andro Gravillon was suspended for their most recent game, so he decided to just jump in the crowd and become an ultra. There's the news that Franck Ribéry has retired. After a long and illustrious career in the game, he'll always be fondly remembered for me by this stunning likeness. But now for our goals of the week. Can we start in England for once, where Yuri Tielemans scored a screamer against Wolves.
Suspension.
Our second goal of the week comes in Paraguay, where Gianluca Fatecha scored directly from a corner, and this is the volley we all dream about scoring. But our final goal of the week might be a Puskás contender again. Ilya Stefanovic pulled out this piece of skill for Volgar. In Germany now, and if you're struggling to count, then the Bundesliga table could be quite useful for you. Meanwhile, there was carnage in Argentina on their final day, as both Racing and Boca Juniors had the chance to win the league going into the final game of the season. There was a lot of change-ups during the course of the day, but Racing had the chance to win the league in the 90th minute with a penalty. They missed that penalty, then River Plate go up the other end and score, gifting the title to their bitter rivals Boca, who went into their changing rooms after to thank them, but they still hate each other, so they ended up scrapping. And there weren't just fireworks on the pitch over at River Plate either. And welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Closer to home, and after one of his opponents got sent off this week, Watford's Troost Ekong had no sympathy at all. It's a Housery award for the Nigerian. YouTubers Toe Jizzle and Manny have been scouted by Crawley Town and are apparently going to be in their squad for their next FA Cup tie, which is just so sick to see. They were so sick at the charity match, so they deserve it, though Vic Star's fuming after not getting a run out.
They've made the biggest mistakes of their lives.
Paul Mullin of Wrexham revealed some fuck the Tory boots this week. With the state of the UK as it is right now, fair play my man, though Patrick Bamford wasn't too pleased.
Smash! Over to the face. Get out of here.
Carlisle and Barrow provided fireworks out on the pitch in their EFL trophy game. Well, I say that, their fans did. Over in Belgium and at Kortrijk, we've got one solitary man who seems to be their only fan. It's a bit of an alternate website, this one, but there's just one supporter, right? In Russia, and we've got a unique way to start off a game here by just slapping a bear on the touchline and seeing what happens. In Peru now, and one of my favourite stories of the week is from Hernan Barcos, who scored in his Peruvian Premier League match, then had to go in goal late on, and he took the piss, diving over a ball that was clearly going out, and then keeping a clean sheet before the end of the game. In Mexico, and Monterrey came close to scoring, but it seems like the guy in charge of their pyrotechnics thought it actually went in. In Sweden, and we've got an example of beautiful pinball ending in a defender falling over and the ball bouncing off him for an own goal. In Bulgaria and at Ludogorets, we've got one brave fox stealing some goalkeeping gloves. There's an insect problem over in Colombia because bugs have invaded the pitch in a way that I've never seen before. In the Scottish Cup, and between Dunbar United and Stirling Uni, we've got one Don slightly losing his temper, I think it's fair to say, in this match, and earning about 4 red cards at the same time. In the MLS, and after a sensational diving display, an Oscar was given out down by the sidelines. Flamengo beat Corinthians on penalties to win the Copa do Brasil, and one of their stars, Diego, took the time to celebrate with the club staff. We've got a barber in the crowd here. I knew that Reece James trim was a little bit too fresh.
Mano, tá muito ruim, cara. Para de jogar bola, mano. Em pleno 2022, ano de Copa, ano da eleição.
Now that it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, and in the last few weeks I've been telling you the story of Astra Giurgiu, a side who were once great in Romania and even did numbers on the European stage.
We couldn't score against Astra fucking Go-Go!
But they've been struggling for funds and have been relegated to the 3rd tier and are getting beaten convincingly every week. Well, there's the sad news that they've asked to withdraw from the 3rd tier of Romanian football, and with that I think you might see the end of them. Quite honestly, they're not good enough for the 4th tier here either. Down in the Brazilian lower leagues now, and we've got a sensational diving header own goal. It doesn't get much better over in Finland, where Inter Turku lost 5-1, and it's no surprise after this defensive mix-up. As I mentioned, Flamengo won the Copa do Brazil, and their fans were going crazy and celebrating. At Feirense, and we've got a goalkeeper here scoring from his own box after a clearance, wind assisted.
Cuca fez uma cara assim de quem.
In Argentina and at Club Atletico Huracan, probably pronounced that wrong, I can't lie, and we've got the goodest of ultras here in the crowd. I don't know where this clip comes from, but have you ever slapped a clearance so far that it's bent all the way in? Bend it like Beckham, eat your heart out. What football are they playing with? One of the plastic ones. In Ethiopia, and I actually don't understand this goalkeeping set. This is nonsensical shot stopping that defies the laws of physics. He wasn't so lucky, but this Swedish goalkeeper did get a little bit fortunate.
Du ser att den tar lite på dobben där och ändrar riktning.
Now that it's time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And I honestly cannot even explain the clip this week, but it is so good that it might just be a Still 0-0 classic. As a scrap develops out on the pitch, it's time for the referee to get amongst it and sort everything out until a development occurs that is so left field, you just don't see it coming.
No le saque tarjeta.
It was all a plan for a wedding proposal. So all the players were in on it. Fam, this is match fixing. On to the weird stuff though now. At Charlton, and their 19-year-old Tyrese Anthony Tupac Shakur Campbell made his debut for the first team. Tupac Shakur.
I can't believe it. Someone said he was dead.
We got a beautiful story coming from a game of FIFA here, where a group of lads who met via a pro clubs team that they created on the game met up a number of years later for the first time at one of the lads' weddings. If that isn't an advocate for gaming getting people together, then I don't know what is. But finally, in the weirdest story of the week, over in Colombia, and over at Jaguares de Cordoba, a Santa Fe defender by the name of Guyson Pereira attempted to distract the opposition during a free kick by getting his package out. Yep, that is right. To try and put off a free kick taker, he dropped his shorts and got it all out. It's a ballsy maneuver, I've got to say. But that is going to wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.